In the meantime, let's get to a story we've been tracking for weeks now. We're seeing some ripple effects from the arrest of D.C. Councilmember Trayon White.
Tonight, the D.C. Council Committee on Recreation, Libraries, and Youth Affairs, it no longer exists. It will be broken into two subcommittees, and council members will divide the work.
Yeah, because White chaired that committee. Also, a group of council members will decide whether or not to expel him by the end of the year. You might remember White's accused of taking more than $150,000 in bribes. Investigators say in return, White promised he'd help companies get contracts renewed for violence interrupter services in the district. Our Katie Lusso is joining us in the studio tonight. And Katie, White's arrest has really sparked a broader conversation about the effectiveness of those violence interrupter programs, yeah?
It certainly has. The D.C. Police Union chair told me tonight that the council member's arrest is exactly why there needs to be a thorough investigation into what it is that violence interrupter programs do. But tonight I also spoke to the executive director of one of those programs who says one bad apple shouldn't spoil the whole bunch.
We see ourselves as partners in DC's public safety ecosystem.
Marcus Ellis is the executive director of Peace for DC. They've trained more than 100 violence interrupters across the district.
They have a unique skill set to de-escalate situations of violence, help with mediation so that the violence does not continue to spew in our community.
But this week, DC Police Union Chair Greg Pemberton calling for a temporary shutdown of all violence interrupter programs across the district.
Somebody shut these programs down, at least temporarily, until some objective group can come in and take a look at that and figure out exactly what's going on.
He says this is in response to Councilmember Trayon White's arrest. White's accused of taking more than $150,000 in bribes in exchange for the promise of a district contract renewed for a company's violence interrupter services.
What that says is that at best, these are some shady fly-by-night operations. At worst, they're completely corrupt and engaged in bribery.
But Ellis says that statement just isn't fair.
Fairly certain that there are members of the Metropolitan Police Department that are under investigation right now. And we're not talking about ending the police system, right? And so it's not fair to do that with community violence intervention either.
Pemberton says there's no data to show these programs are working, and at a time when they're short 500 officers compared to 4 years ago, he'd like to see the money spent on these programs redirected to bringing in more officers.
There's zero empirical data anywhere that any of these programs have any efficacy or have any effect. And as a matter of fact, these folks do not document anything they're doing. So I don't know how we could possibly ever measure their success or their failure rate in any way, shape, or form.
Now, at this point, the council has not indicated that they are considering what the union has called for. However, we do know that there are several oversight roundtables scheduled for later this fall, and one of the topics is listed as the future of violence interruption programs.
We'll have to watch this closely.
We will. Katie, thank you.